Hi, thank you for joining. My name is Laura Patterson, and this is the Peace Offering Kitchen. Today, I'm going to be making a salad that has burrata cheese in it. And because Jonathan is here with me today, our nutrition expert, I thought it'd be a great opportunity for us to talk about dairy and the nutrition benefits of it. In my cooking, I was a cordon bleu trained chef. We make almost everything in butter and then also a lot of dairy. And it turns out that not only is that delicious, but it happens to be one of the healthiest ways to cook. And so we're here to talk about ways to add dairy back into your diet and the importance of that if for some reason you have taken it out of your diet.
So there's a number of reasons why you want to incorporate dairy, or if it's not a regular part of your diet, to make it regular. And we can talk about ways to do that if you think you might be, if a person thinks that they're lactose intolerant or sensitive to dairy, and how to work around that, because there are ways to make this work. So, starting firstly with the mineral content of dairy. Most people know that it's a high calcium food. Most people don't know that it is the primary calcium source for humans. If you eliminate dairy, a person's probably not getting enough calcium in their diet. There's a whole bunch of downstream negative effects that occur by not getting enough calcium. But one of them is this process of bone loss. Now, the RDA for calcium for adults is around 1,000 milligrams, 1,200 milligrams, and an 8-ounce glass of milk has around 300 odd milligrams. So just for reference there.
Sure.
There's going to be more in a glass of milk than there will be in butter or in cheese. So not only is it important just for calcium regulation, by the way, most of the calcium in our bodies is in our bones and our teeth. That's like the storehouse of 99% of our calcium. It's one of the most abundant minerals in our body. And you just can't get enough by eating leaves. You just can't get enough from eating leaves. So there's that. Another thing, it is mostly saturated fat. There's a little bit of monosaturated fat in there, and there's very little, about 1% to 2% of the total is polyunsaturated fats, which is basically like the opposite of what seed oils are. So this is one of the most saturated fat foods that you can eat. Now, in a glass of milk, it's typically about 4% fat.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking 8 ounces, and in that 8 ounces, it's about 8 grams of fat and about 8 grams of protein and about 12 grams of carbohydrate. So it's got a really unique sort of full macro profile, which is why it's essentially the perfect food that a mother's giving to the child.
Yeah.
So it's got all of those needs being met. Much of what underpins what we're doing here is maximizing energy production.
Right.
Energy is the core of health.
Yeah.
And it's the core of consciousness.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have enough of that, or a tissue or an organ doesn't have enough of that, then it's going to stop working.
Right.
Or not work as well.
Yeah.
And a really good example of that are sex hormones. And so you think of what are some of the highest expressions of an optimal energy organism. It's the ability to procreate. It's fertility.
Yeah.
That is like, it's when it is highly fertile, or when it is producing a lot more offspring, that is a very healthy organism.
Right.
And that is one of the first things that starts to disappear when someone is slowing down their metabolic rate. Okay.
Sure.
So you can look at these things, we're simplifying things to conceptualize them, but estrogen falls into the category of being anti-metabolic. And there are many reasons why estrogen is high nowadays, from the increase of the metabolites from polyunsaturated fats to all of the xenoestrogens in the environment. These are things that are like in plastic, BPA, phthalates, also some of the heavy metals. So cadmium, the heavy metal cadmium, which is blocked or buffered by increasing your dairy content, is more estrogenic than BPA.
Really?
Now, some people argue it's it's not as big of a deal because it's not as pervasive in the environment as BPA. So the amount of BPA you're exposed to is, say, more than cadmium.
Then why are we all so high in cadmium?
Well, how would you know unless you tested it?
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's true.
that's like, I think, quite a powerful argument for being more aware of your heavy metal inputs.
Yeah.
And cadmium is probably the second most pervasive metal toxicity nowadays.
Yeah.
And it's an ongoing exposure, and it comes from fertilizer. It comes from predominantly synthetic fertilizer. But even if you're organic farming, a lot of times phosphate rocks, like natural phosphate rocks, will be used in fertilizer, and that contains a lot of cadmium.
Interesting.
So you can get cadmium directly going into the food, or it's going into the water supply.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of everywhere, and it's really hard to avoid. So one of the ways that you can protect yourself from that is by increasing your calcium intake. Okay.
So it's important to us that we get dairy in our diet. What about people who can't tolerate dairy?
Yeah. So there are a few things that people have trouble tolerating. Okay. So one, probably the easiest one to manage is the type of protein. So
the type of protein in the dairy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it's about 80% casein.
Okay.
That's the primary protein that's in dairy, and the other is whey. Casein comes in A2 form or A1 form.
Oh, okay.
Most commercial dairy is A1 form, and people react to that.
I see.
And the reason that they react to that is because it is more foreign than human breast milk.
Human breast milk is
A2.
Is A2.
Yeah. So selecting an A2 casein milk, and it will say that on there.
Yeah.
Like this one.
Right.
Is a good place to just start. And by the way, goats and sheep are A2.
All of them?
Yes.
But then only some cows?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's an important distinguishment, and it needs to be A2. So the cows should be tested because they can have a mix of casein in them.
Oh, okay.
So like in this raw milk here, it's A2/A2, so these cows have been tested. The next thing that trips people up is the lactose. Okay, so lactose is a disaccharide sugar. It's the sugar that makes up the carbohydrate in milk.
Okay.
Okay, and a lot of people say that they're lactose intolerant. Okay, what does that mean exactly? So we have an enzyme in our small intestine called lactase.
Okay.
And the function of that is to break down the lactose into glucose and galactase, which we can then absorb.
Okay.
If you don't have enough of that enzyme relative to the amount of lactose you just consumed, it won't digest. And then it will go into your colon, and the bacteria in the colon will ferment it, and then you get gas. Okay? So what determines how much lactase a person has is really how much lactose they've been historically consuming.
Okay.
So we all have it. We're all born with it because for most part, we're breastfed.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're getting breast milk, and there's a lot of lactose in there, and our small intestine is breaking that down with the lactase enzyme. And as a newborn or a 1-year-old, say, stops drinking breast milk, if the mom removes milk from the diet, the digestion the small intestine will adapt to that. What's the need for having this much lactase if we don't have lactose coming in?
But can you build it back up?
You can build it back up.
Okay.
So just like the small intestine will lower the amount of enzyme that you have, it can also increase the amount of enzyme.
Okay.
So that means that when you take it, you just take little bits at a time. So you can sort of regenerate this lactase enzyme, and typically it's like an ounce a day or a half an ounce a day to start.
I see.
And then you basically test your tolerance to that.
Yeah.
Are you getting gas from that, or bloating, which is gas, belching,
So does some milk have more lactose than others?
Well, it depends. It depends on, you can look at basically what the carbohydrate content is of milk.
Okay.
All right. And so whatever the carbohydrate content is, that is the lactose.
Oh,
Does that make sense?
no.
So, okay. So an 8-ounce glass of milk
Yes.
is going to have, let's look it up and see if they have it on here. Okay. 12 grams. 12 grams. So that means you're getting 12 grams of lactose.
Okay. Okay.
So you know exactly how much you're getting.
But I thought for some reason raw milk had less lactose or something like that.
Raw milk has more lactase. So here's the other thing. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So if it's raw, it has naturally present lactase in it.
Oh, okay.
And it also has beneficial bacteria like lactobacillus and bifidobacteria that can ferment that lactose and make it absorbable.
Oh, okay. So if you're drinking raw milk, it comes with it the aid to help you digest it.
Yes, which is why most people do better with raw milk. So in the pasteurization process, that gets destroyed.
I see.
Those bacteria and the lactase gets destroyed.
Then why are we doing it?
You know, if it's not properly handled, because it does need to be cooled shortly after the cow is milked.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't stay in a sterile container, chilled at 40 degrees or 39 degrees Fahrenheit, then you can get growths. Okay. So,
but less so if you've already killed off the lactobacillus.
Yeah. So they basically just sterilize the milk.
Right.
They sterilize the milk and then they keep it cold for pasteurization.
I see.
And so yeah, so that's the major benefit of the raw milk is that you still have the microbiome from the cow that's passing to you. You have more digestibility because the lactase is present, and you've got this like micro fermentation occurring because these bacteria are eating the lactose.
Yeah.
And so they're breaking down some of that.
Yeah.
And even though it's not like kefir or yogurt yet, right? And so that's one way. It's like start with raw. Start with A2, start with raw, start with a little bit at a time. Okay? If you still can't tolerate that, the next step would be to actually consume an A2 raw kefir or yogurt, where it's more fermented. So you're just basically increasing that fermentation, which will further lower the lactose content of that dairy.
I see. But it's important for all of us to try to get dairy back into our diets to get back to more homeostasis.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's really important. I think it's important because of the fats. I think it's important because of the calcium. And I think that it's a whole food. It has a great macro profile.
Yeah. And it's great news because it's delicious.
And it's delicious.
It just makes sense. And it's what us humans have been doing. I mean, why are we born to drink our mother's milk if we are not supposed to drink milk? It just makes sense.
Yeah. So it's like now we're at the period in human history where we have to figure out why we can't tolerate this thing. That is given to every infant when they're born.
Right. Exactly. Well, you and I could talk forever about this, but we should probably wrap it up. Thank you all so much for tuning in. There is so much to learn, and we're so excited to share all of this knowledge with you. See you next time.